Welcome to Stuck, Time to Improv. I'm Mary Scott with Business Riff, and I want startups to be wildly successful. So today I'm very happy to have Tiffanie Kellog from Asentiv. We're going to be talking about strategic alliances, which is something that startups absolutely need because you can't do it alone, right, Tiffanie?
Not alone. Nope.
Thanks for coming. So let's talk first. Let's tell people, what is a strategic alliance?
So I think of a strategic alliance as a partner who their product or service is perfect for your ideal client, though they're not a competitor. So there's a lot of synergy going on hand in hand. We're able to support the same clientele with different offerings.
Okay, so how does a startup business think about what would be a strategic alliance?
So the first step in figuring out, okay, who are the right strategic alliances for me is figuring out who is your ideal client, because that to me is the most important part of determining strategic alliances. I have people come to me all the time and say, Tiffanie, what professions are right for me as a strategic partnership based on my profession? And I'm like, that's not exactly how it works, because it's all about that clientele. I was just having a conversation yesterday, actually, about a couple of different financial advisors that I know. One of the financial advisors doesn't get out of bed for less than $250,000. Like, we need a lot of money to do some work. I've got another financial advisor that I work with that specializes in working with people with special needs children. And most of the time, they don't have $250,000 to invest. I mean, it's a much smaller budget. That's their specialty and where their heart lies. And so the strategic partner between the two would be so very different. So first step, number one, is you want to figure out who is your ideal client. And then you can figure out, okay, who else is selling to that ideal client?
Okay, so how does a startup approach a potential strategic alliance?
Okay, so there's a couple of ways that you can go about doing it. One that I don't necessarily recommend, but is an option, is cold calling. You can go online, go to Google and say, okay, here's the profession that I'm looking for. Hey, I saw you online. I think we could refer each other. Not my preferred method, but sometimes that's where we have to start. I much prefer to utilize my network. So I might be new startup in my business, but that doesn't mean I don't know people that know people. And so as I figure out what professions could be good potential partners, I might ask the people in my network, share with them, hey, I'm expanding my business and I could use your help. Who do you know who? And then ask for the specific profession of the person that you're looking to meet. And so you're utilizing your network to say, who do you know who is the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker? And can you create that connection for me? And while you may not be in business for a long time as a startup, hopefully the person that you're asking knows at least a little bit about you and feels comfortable helping create a coffee, whether that's in person or on Zoom, and maybe it's even a quick phone call, making that happen. Now, a third option, which is kind of a in between of the two. So my favorite is asking for the connection. However, could you find a professional association that is built around those potential referral partners? So if it happens to be the butcher, I could go, I'm in Tampa Bay, so I might put Tampa Butchers and then Butchers Association and find out what groups do they belong to and then go network there. It's better than cold calling, though not as good as asking someone for the connection.
Right. And then it's about, as a startup, making sure you have an idea of what's in it for them. What can you give to this potential strategic alliance? So it's not just a one-way street.
Yes, we like to say relationships last as long as they're mutually beneficial to both parties. If it's, hey, just give to me, give to me, give to me, there's got to be the WIFM, what's in it for me. And so one thing that I recommend to my clients when I'm working with them is come up with a list of what are the benefits to your strategic partnerships. And this could be, sometimes there's an incentive, that's a small option, but it could be, hey, if you refer people to me, we have that reciprocal referral, or perhaps I can actually help you close people. If depending on the process that is happening, we can talk about, hey, here's bonuses that you get. I'll promote you on social media. Can I book you speaking engagements? There are so many different ways we can motivate our network. And so we just have to make sure that if we're in strategic partners, whether you're the startup or the veteran, that it's mutually beneficial for both parties. We're motivating each other to want to make things happen.
Right. So we're always looking for the multiple win scenario.
Yes, yes, yes. And to me, in the referral process, it needs to be win-win-win. Win for the referee, the referrer, and the prospect. If it's not a win-win-win for all three, that's when it feels really forced and it leaves a bad taste in at least one, if not multiple, of the people's mouth.
Right. And when you start with an alliance and it doesn't quite work out, you learn from that and you figure out what went wrong, and maybe you need to be looking in a different place.
Yeah, sometimes I like to use the analogy of we kiss some frogs. It's not always the right fit, and that's okay. It takes some time for us to find that right partnership, though we do have to be careful. Sometimes it's like, oh my gosh, Mary, you're amazing. Let's refer each other. Where are my referrals? And it's like, hi, nice to meet you. And so we do have to take some of the time to build that know, like, and trust. And so just because we've met, we've had that connection, doesn't mean we're ready to refer right away. It may take a couple of weeks, a couple of months, depending on your profession. It could even take a couple of years. One client of mine builds medical buildings. You know, we're talking $5 million a deal. And so somebody has to have a lot of trust to be able to say, this is the right person for you. It's a little bit easier when you have a strategic partnership with a restaurant or a florist because there's not as much risk or money involved.
So patience is real important when you're looking at strategic alliances, and understanding that sometimes it's a process. Sometimes things happen instantly, but sometimes it's a process, and it can really pay off when you put in the best time and effort, right?
Yes, definitely.
So any additional things you want people to know about strategic alliances?
So one other component, I talked a little bit about, we have to motivate, we have to make sure that there's a WIFM for both parties. I also think we have to take some time to educate our strategic partners on who is a good prospect for me. What are the qualifying questions that you need to do prior to sending them to me? What does the referral process look like? I think it's our job to make it easy on our strategic partner to refer us and vice versa. I'm a huge fan of having a script. So if somebody wants to refer me, I'm like, here is the email script. All you have to do is cut and paste and send it on its way, or change it up and make it your own. But I want to make it easy. So we do need to take some time to educate each other on a good referral and all of that. And it's part of building the relationship, getting to know. If you're truly doing it right with your strategic partnerships, they're almost like a salesperson on your behalf. I'm not saying they're going to give the quote or take the money, but they're really out there working for you. So they know your business and they know your business well. And when it comes to strategic partnerships, sometimes people think, let me go network, meet hundreds and thousands of people, get lots of referrals. To me, it's who are the 4, 6, or 8 of the right people in the right professions with the right attitude that can refer me all day, every day.
I like to make it easy on people by saying, when you hear the words, I wish I could find, you send them to me.
Yes, yes.
So that's what a business concierge is looking for. Anybody
Yes,
who
teach
wishes
those
they
things.
could find something.
Yes.
Well,
Teach us.
thank you so much, Tiffanie Kellog. This has been really important information for startups. I'm Mary Scott with Business Riff, and I want startup businesses to be wildly successful. We'll put contact information and in other stuff in the comments so that you can find Tiffanie. Thanks again, and join us next time for Stuck, Time to Improv.